Good morning. I wanted to do this next video on some different skills and then include that into some drawing, creative drawing. And so I have some pictures on my blog with some different drawing things, and it's including objects from home and creating a little world or a story, a narrative that those objects can live in. This one had a glue stick stuck here, and I thought it could become a spaceship. I have an eye here, and I can put a quarter there. I could put the cap of the glue stick there. And then I have this little figure I drew, and I had some pins on there. And this morning I drew a little bird of some sort eating a fish from a pair of scissors. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to play with the shadows. I don't know if you can see those. Adding some different lines in there. And when I take it off, I'd have to add some more details, that sort of thing, or I could just leave it on there. I like this type of drawing because it takes some creativity. You just have to make it up. But I also wanted to show you how to add some different shading and value to your drawing if you want to make it look like it has depth or a little bit of form to it, okay? So the first thing that you need to know is, you need to have a sharp pencil. And what we're gonna practice first is called gradual shading, okay? So I'm gonna see if I can move this so you guys can see my hands, okay? Move my bird out of the way. And so the first thing that I do is I move my hand away from the end of the pencil, okay? And I slide it way back by the eraser, okay? And all of my students that have been through 6th grade art know this. What you do is when you have your hand at the end, you are creating a lighter value. And you're also holding that pencil tip on the side, okay? Now if I want to make it darker, I can slide my hand up and then I can actually press a little bit more, okay? And if I want to make it even darker, I slide my hand up even more. And I usually have my students tell me some different skills that I'm working on, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. So the first one is I have a sharp pencil. The second one, I want smooth and even values so that there's no lines in between. Okay, and you might be able to see a few of my lines, but they're fairly smooth. We want to have that nice texture so that the lines don't distract us from what we're doing. And right now I'm adding layers. And so if I have a darker line in the middle like that, I'm going to use some more layers around it. So don't shade on top of it, just shade around it so that that contrast is gone. And then I am making sure that those layers are built up and I'm not pressing hard. I'm only shading one way or one direction, okay? And now I've built up that side and this looks like it's gradual, okay? So light to dark or dark to light, however you want to look at that. Another way to shade is to use individual values. So again, I'm going to slide my hand back because I want my first box to be as light as I can get it, and I'm going to shade really close lines together. Okay, and it should be a little bit darker than the paper, but not very much, okay? Okay, that's going to be called my number 1 value. Then I shade the next one, and it should look the same, and then I put another layer on it. So it should look a little bit darker, and if it doesn't, I have to add another layer. So now it looks a little bit darker. And I'm going to continue that process as I work through this. And I have 7 boxes here. You could have as many as you want. And what you notice by holding your pencil here is you can move this. You don't have a good grip on it. And that's okay. That's what we want for these first values, okay? So here I have 3 values. I'm going to move up to the next one. Once I start getting to that 3 and 4 value box, I start to move my hand more, but then it changes the way that the pencil lead touches the paper. So you have to be careful. And I'm adding lots of layers. And can you tell I'm not pressing hard? I'm just letting the pencil layers build up. So I've got all the way through number 4. Bless me. So I'm going to continue to build those layers up. And I'm working as kind of slow. I'm trying not to scribble. And I'm on that 6th value, so I want to press a little bit harder, but I don't want to dent the paper. Okay, and it looks like I should maybe add another value to this one, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's kind of like an experiment where you are trying to make them look different. Maybe I could add a layer to that one. Okay, I'm going to work on this last value. So I'm building it up, building it up. Okay, now they look the same, so I need to keep adding layers. So the first boxes, I might have made like 1 layer. When I get toward these 6 and 7 values, I'm gonna have to have multiple layers on top so that it looks darker, but that I was careful with it, not that I just scribbled and pressed hard. Okay, and voila, I have 7 values. Now, how can you use that? Well, I could use that to create some different shading around the eye here of my bird. So I can use my gradual shading. And I can smooth with my finger, and it makes that eye pop out. I'm gonna create another line here under the eye. And you don't have to fill your entire paper up. Sometimes it's nice to leave some open areas, okay? And I'm just adding some creativity to this little bird that I have here. And maybe I add a little dark value to the beak and some different lines on it. Now, if you feel like you have the hang of shading, making sure that you try to get all 7 values into your artwork is the key. Many people are really good at either the light or the dark values, but we need a whole range so that those dark values make things pop out. Okay, and so you can see there's more detail to the beak here, okay? If I have my little figure here, I could shade around the balloon, make it look like it's more round. And you could smooth with your finger if you want to. And there's not really any dark values yet, so watch what happens. So now that pops out a little bit more, okay? I could shade the figure. Here's my little alien. And I did a little bit of gradual shading there, but there's not a whole lot of difference yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and add another layer in here so you can see the difference. So now that side pops out a little bit more because there's more contrast, okay? So play around with shading, contrast, and values today with your pencil. Have a great day.